Okay, kids, it's time for another episode of the Fueled by Weird podcast, the only podcast where we finish each other's sandwiches. I'm Chris Daly, and today I'd like to welcome Joey Murphy to the show, and welcome back Mr. Anthony Iannaccio, aka Mr. Tony Nacho. Guys, what's going on tonight?
Hey,
Going on,
Chris.
man? Thanks for
Glad to
having me
be
on.
back.
Yeah, I'm glad to have you back, man, and Joey, glad to welcome you to the show for the first time. Very, very excited.
Excited to be here.
And I forgot to look before. Did I pronounce your last name right again?
Um,
Close.
say it
No.
again. Say it again. Say it again.
Iannaccio?
Yeah, I'll give you that one. I'll give you that
Okay.
one.
Tell me again how it's pronounced.
No, it's pretty much perfect. I would say Iannaccio, but then
Iannaccio. Okay.
I mean, certain Italian people might pronounce it like the I, like the E. I guess that's the right way to pronounce it. But
Okay.
you know,
Yeah, and I was gonna look because I know that last time I nailed it, you said, and I was like, I'm just gonna take my chances and hope for the best. So, that's close enough. That works for me.
I respect it. By the way, I wore my Austin 316 shirt just for you.
Hell yeah, dude. That's rad. I think today's like the only day I'm not wearing a pro wrestling shirt because most days I am. Today
That's what
I
you told me
wear,
last time, so that's
yeah,
why I was like, I should wear one.
almost every single day, but today is my sleep not
Sleep
shirt
not.
with
See, not.
with
Oh,
Hey.
hell.
Snorlax. So
Hell yeah.
yeah, but
Oh
yeah,
my goodness.
usually I'm like 95% of the time it's a wrestling shirt. So I've been slowly kind of mixing in some band tees and some other stuff like this. So I'm not strictly wrestling all the time, but a majority of the time it's pro wrestling.
Nice. New year, new you.
Yeah, there you go. All right, guys. So, Tony, as you know, I like to start these things off with an icebreaker question. And, my mention of band shirts kind of brings us to the icebreaker question for today. So today's question is, what song could you listen to over and over and over again? Now,
Ooh.
this doesn't have to be like favorite song of all time. It could just be like what's in your rotation currently or recently that you have on repeat. So it can be something recent, it can be something that like one of your all-time favorites is whatever you guys want to do.
Oh.
It's a really
Joey,
good
since you're
question.
new, let's start with you.
Oh no. um, I'm suddenly unable to think of a single song.
Not one?
Like what is music now? Um, no, I think the first one that comes to my head that like never fails to like kind of put a little pep in my step is Mr. Blue Sky, Electric Light Orchestra,
Okay.
Hell yeah.
ELO. It just has such a fun, bouncy like rhythm to it, and it's I don't know, it's like I don't know, it's a great song. It puts me in a good mood.
Right on. That's
Great way
awesome.
to start the day.
Very good. All right, man. Tony, let's go with you. What's your pick?
Nice. I'm gonna stay super on brand right here with
Okay.
Weezer. um,
Nice.
I feel like my favorite Weezer song, it wasn't always this, but it's In the Garage from the Blue album. It's from
Okay.
their that's from their first album.
Oh, that's
And
a
I
good
feel like
one.
it just like yeah, I feel like it just captures like the essence of Weezer. Like if you don't like that song, you're not gonna like probably anything else in their catalog, I feel like. Because it's like about like, being a nerd, just being like, it's almost like they're talking about like this is so corny, but like that's like the garage is like their safe space. They're like, I could be who I am here, and like my friends aren't gonna make fun of me, if they do. It's just like, we're all losers here. And I feel
Oh,
like, that's who I'm making comics for, me and people like that. So
There you go.
oh
That's
yeah.
awesome, man. I've listened to a lot of Weezer, but I don't think I've listened to that song. So I'm gonna have to go listen to that one now. And I know I've never listened to that ELO song, so I'm gonna have to go check that one out.
Oh, it's great. I'm sure like once you hear it, you're like, oh, I've heard this. I know this song.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, probably. But yeah, with Weezer, I've listened to a lot of Weezer, but I haven't listened to that one. I know I had a buddy who he said every time I get sad and depressed, I always listen to Pinkerton by Weezer. And I was like, I don't he could never really say why. He just said I like to listen to that whole album when I'm feeling sad. So I listened to it once and I'm like, okay, I kind of get it, but I still kind of didn't get it. But I'm like, in solidarity, I'm gonna do it just because you're my friend. But yeah, so
Yeah, it's a totally emo album, honestly. So
yeah, that
yeah.
that kind of that makes sense. But yeah, so yeah, that's a good one. For me, this could be this could change by the day. Really just depends on the day sometimes. Um, but lately for me, because of TikTok, which is where I find a ton of music that I've never heard before, a bunch of really awesome new music. It actually really sucks because they find a bunch of bands that are AI bands, and that kind of sucks because
Ah, lame.
some of the
Yeah.
music is incredible, but they're AI bands. So I'm like, as good as this is,
Yuck.
I still can't. But anyway, a band that I just recently found that a lot of people already know about and have been familiar with for years, but I'm just learning about is uh Emarosa.
What is it?
I don't know
Um
if, yeah, I don't know if I know them.
Emarosa, Emarosa. They've been around
No.
for a super long time. But they're coming out with a new album soon. They just released a couple new singles. So that kind of got me hooked on them. So I've been kind of going through some of their back catalog. And one song of theirs that I've had on repeat for, oh God, literally like since last week, is one called Cautious. It's
Cautious.
so
Okay.
good. It kind of has like an 80s throwback feel, kind of.
Hmm.
I can't think of the band I can compare. I was thinking of a band that like it had a pretty similar sound that you could compare it to, but I can't think of the band right now, but it's a great song. They have another one called Stay, where the music video they dress up like Michael J. Fox from Teen Wolf. So that's kind of rad.
I
And
love that.
that was kind of like a second choice for me, but yeah, Cautious by Emarosa. It's a fantastic song. It's got like some synthesizers, got oh, it's good stuff. Good.
I'll check that out. I like
I'm gonna
80s
write that
sounding
down
music
now
and
before I
80s
forget
music.
it.
So,
Which is crazy because when they first came out, they were more kind of like a little bit edgier, kind of like punk, um, hardcore emo stuff. But um, they had this one lead singer from 2007 to 2011. His name is Johnny Craig, who apparently he's had lots of issues with all sorts of different things. But he was in the band for a few years. Once they replaced him with a new singer, the singer they have now back in like 2013. Um, it's like a whole different band. Like the first
huh.
couple albums with the new singer, it was still kind of a little bit rough, but it was kind of going to more kind of poppy stuff. And now, I think they have two albums that I've listened to all the way through and with like no skips. It's really good.
Nice.
Um, it's like a whole different sound now. So they're very good. I can't talk about them enough. But yeah, they're my new recent obsession. So that's my repeat song for lately. But yeah,
Nice.
I'll if you don't find it, I'll share it with you after the show and you can check it out and just give it a listen because it's so good.
For
Hell
sure.
yeah.
All right, guys. So we got to talk to you a little bit about this time or about this last time, Anthony. So I'm gonna ask you this time, Joey. You know, the concept of the show Fueled by Weird is basically, you know, the hobbies, the interests, you know, all the stuff you're into. It's kind of what makes you who you are. So when you're not busy doing comic stuff, you know, what other hobbies are you into?
Huh. Well, I mean, video games. I'm on my second playthrough of Red Dead Redemption 2. I've been on this playthrough for the last like 3 years.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
just like partially because of like time constraints,
Yeah,
and partially because having played through it the first time, I know where the story is going, and I'm not ready to go there again yet. So I'm just like
sure.
every side quest I can do, every hunting, like anything I can do to just like fully explore, that game land, just so I don't have to, I'd have to postpone the ending
Yeah, and plus,
for
you
as
know,
long as I can.
being an adult trying to play video games, you know, you saying you've been on it for 3 years, that totally tracks.
I mean, yeah, it's tough. You got work, you got life, you got, you know, Superguy, you got,
Yeah.
TV shows that you got to keep up with.
Oh,
You know,
for sure.
it just
For
takes
sure.
up all the time.
Yeah,
But
man. Then what console do you play on? Doesn't really.
PS5.
Oh, yeah, cool. Like it doesn't really
Yeah.
matter, but I always like to ask.
Yeah.
Um, that's cool, man. Yeah, I with you with the TV shows. There's you know, we talked about this last time with pro wrestling. My daughter kind of is into pro wrestling a little bit, but she's only certain people. So like I'll be watching one of the weekly shows, and if I get to a part where someone that she's interested in is there, I have to just totally stop. So that's why I can't
Oh,
ever like talk about, you know, I can't stay up to date on the shows, so I can't ever like talk like predictions and all that stuff because I'm a couple weeks behind always. So
oh
so yeah,
no.
I always have to get to the parts where she would like, and then I can go do other stuff like video games. Because my latest video game obsession has been Fortnite because my kids got
Nice.
me into it. I didn't ever want to play it. My kids got me into it. I'm totally into it now. And now my kids basically both are like, "Yeah, we're kind of done with Fortnite." And I'm like, ah,
No.
okay, cool. That sounds about on brand too. So
Yeah.
kids get you into something and then they just ditch it and get bored and it's like, cool, now
Yep.
I'm stuck with this. That's awesome. But it's really a lot of fun though. So it's worth it.
I've played it a couple times. I'm so bad at it, but
Oh,
it is
I'm
fun.
I'm dog water at that game for sure. I've even had a couple other people join me. They're like, "Yeah, you're not very good." I'm like, well, they told me in like the nicest way possible. I'm like, I play by myself like all the time, so that's probably why I'm not any better because I'm terrible. Um, but other than video games, what other kind of things you like to do? I see you have a pretty good Funko collection there behind you.
Yeah, I got a few. Mostly just the ones that of like my bigger fandoms. Like I got Rick back there from Rick and Morty. I got
Nice.
Frankenfurter from Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Right on.
Got Din Djarin and Grogu from The Mandalorian. This is my newest one. I don't know if you've seen the Alien Earth
Oh
show
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
when the little eyeball guy goes onto the lamb. I was like, that is such a cool thing. And if they ever make like an action figure or something, I need one of those for my desk. And like I don't know, like a month or so, a couple months, Funko's like, oh, we're going out of business, or maybe I don't know. I haven't kept up, but like, here's a
Yeah.
huge sale, and I was like, I clicked on the thing, and the first one that popped up was that, and I was like, well,
You
there you go,
manifested it.
yeah, I did.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know
got a little.
if I take down my Ron Swanson wall background here, because this spoiler, this is not my real background, the
Yeah,
NBC logo.
I
Because like Ron Swanson from Parks and Rec, I'm a fan of breakfast food and dark-haired women.
I
Um,
saw that when we first started. I was like, oh, he's got Ron Swanson's picture up on his wall. That's
nice.
awesome. And I was like, oh shit, that looks just like Ron's desk.
It is
Huh.
Ron's desk.
And then I noticed like the green screen around. I
Yeah.
was like, oh, I'm just an idiot, but that's
No,
Ron.
you're good. A lot of people have actually thought this is my real background, and I wish that it was. But
I
yeah,
mean,
I
truth
even
mean,
though
be
I
I've
would
been
have
on
that
the
on my
show,
wall.
told,
even though I've been on the show before, I forgot it was
yeah,
a fake background. And
I
yeah.
wish. I wish. And this is the dead giveaway right here, the backwards NBC logo.
Oh, see, my screen isn't full, so our little thumbnails are hiding that perfectly. So I
Ah.
didn't even
Oh,
notice.
perfect.
Well,
Didn't even notice
when I
that.
publish this, it flips it the other way, so it's fine. And it'll look like, I'm looking at you guys right now, but it'll look like I'm looking this way, so it looks like I'm totally ignoring you, so it's super weird. But
Rude.
it's way too much effort to go and flip the image, but whatever, it's fine. I've got a few Funkos here well, anyway, if I take this out, you're gonna see a gigantic Funko collection like right back here. There's like 100, almost
Oh
200
man.
some odd. I do keep a couple of my favorites here handy, like
Hey,
Burt
Burt
Macklin.
Macklin.
Burt
FBI.
Macklin, and of course just Andy himself.
Oh,
So
There you
nice.
go. We
I
love
keep
Andy Bernard. Or not Andy
absolutely.
Bernard. Andy
Dwyer?
Yeah,
Dwyer.
we don't necessarily
Wrong
love
Andy.
Andy Bernard,
Wrong
but
Andy.
Andy Dwyer we're super here
Yeah.
for.
Yeah, I actually
Um,
hate that Andy from The Office.
ugh,
Yeah, no,
Not a
God.
fan.
I don't mind him until the end when he becomes the manager, and then it's just
Oh, yeah. Some of the worst episodes for sure.
God. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, Tony, I want to talk to you a little bit about
Sure.
Comics and Chronics 5-year anniversary. Let's talk a little bit about that,
Woo!
man. First of all, congratulations, by the way.
Thank
That's
you.
super rad.
Yeah. So we just put out our first episode of we never have like a new season. It's always going to be like season 1. I feel like we
Yeah.
made that decision and we're like, we're never going back. It's always going to be season 1.
That's okay.
But like at the end of the year, like we kind of, I mean, at the beginning of the year, we kind of take like a 1-month break. Because like our first episode was released like January 22nd or something, 2021. So we try to, give ourselves a little break because maybe we've missed 1 or 2 weeks here and there more recently, but
Yeah.
we're pretty consistent about putting out an episode every week. So if we know ahead of time, like, hey, we're not going to have a lot of time to record, someone's going to be here, someone has like this work schedule, this, and that, then, we're not going to. So that's why we went on a hiatus, basically. Like that kind of stuff pops up. But we came out with Wonder Man. Last night we recorded Spectators. That's a Brian K. Vaughan Nico Henrikon comic that came out. It's a graphic novel actually. It's an all-in-one story. It's not like separate issues. One of the best comics I read last year. So I'm really excited to put that episode out. That's probably going to be out this week. I don't know when this recording comes out, but that's going to be out. It'll be out by the time you hear this for sure.
Nice.
Um, we're just kind of, I feel like this is going to be a more lax year for us for a lot of reasons. First of all, right now, like, Superguy is coming out. So it's like, I definitely want to have some more focus there. And so coming off of like taking a little break, it's just like, we'll get to it. I think for all of us, it's just kind of, I don't want to say on the back burner, but it's just not, it feels like it's not the same, but we still want to put our best effort into it. So we're not going to like over promise if we're not going to be like putting out bangers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I think right now my focus more than anything is writing comics. I'm going to be having a story in a zombie anthology, which is so awesome to me because
Yeah.
Superguy's my first comic, but now I get to try out horror. So that was really fun. I wrote a 10-page story. And then I'm going to be, well, for one anthology, I have to work on a story by the end of the month. That's going to be pretty cool. I don't know if I'm allowed to announce it. I don't know the rules, so I'm not
No
going to say
worries.
anything except
All right.
that.
Yeah.
And then there's a second anthology that I'm going to write a story for, but that's like, not guaranteed to be in. It's just kind of like you write a story, see if they accept it. Whereas this first one is like guaranteed as long as I like have the script in their hands.
Nice.
So that's a lot of fun. But yeah, podcast wise, it's just I got like end of the day, it's not my main focus.
Yeah, yeah. It's still a focus. It's just it's the
Right.
priority has shifted because you've got other things going on. But you guys also want to keep doing it. Just right now you're all busy, and that totally makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah, yeah. That's cool, man. It's hard to keep a podcast going for, for a year, let alone 5 years. So that's really
Yeah.
cool, man. I mean, I know for me myself, I've been in and out of podcasting for like 10-ish years,
Wow.
with several different podcasts. And I mean, over that 10 years, there's been time where I didn't do any podcasts, but the first one I did was like it was back in like, I don't know, 2011, 2013, something like that. So kind of right around when podcasts were even first becoming a thing. But I've done a
Mhm.
few here and there over the years, but this one's been my most consistent recently. But yeah, it's hard, especially, with when you've my very first one, it was me and a bunch of other friends. And so, kind of like you have with Comics and Chronic, it's hard to kind of coordinate everybody's schedules and, trying to get people together to record. Sometimes you only get a couple people, sometimes maybe it's just you. It's hard. So that's commendable that you guys have been keeping it together for 5 years.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All
It's
right,
really gone by
so
fast too, the
Right?
5 years. I
Yeah.
remember when you guys
yeah.
first started, and it doesn't feel like it's been that long.
Dude, it's crazy like how quick time is going because it's like you just think, oh, that was a couple years ago. But like, no, that was like 2020. Like, oh shit, like
Yep.
this, like how is 2020 already like 6 years ago?
Yep.
It's wild. It's so crazy.
Yeah, that's the other thing. It was a pandemic project, right? It was never
Yeah,
something that we envisioned like, yes, we will keep this going for years to come. Like it was
for
like,
sure.
let's stay sane and talk about the TV we've been, stuck inside watching. And like, I'm glad it became more than that.
Yeah.
And what again, I think the one if not the coolest thing to come out of it for me is getting to meet Joey because Joey did the logo for us. I didn't know him
Nice.
before that, but he was my co-host Jake's friend out in LA. And because of that, I was like, oh, I got to see Joey's art in a different, I maybe I don't know how I would have known about you, I guess, if I didn't, work with you
I
with that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe eventually just through, Instagram and,
Yeah.
Jake being our mutual friend, but yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
how different our lives would be right now.
Seriously. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
True.
Uh,
And yeah, you don't have to worry about I want to kind of go back to what you said about, you know, perpetually being on season one of the show because most people don't break their shows into season. They just keep numbering over and over and over. Then you got weirdos like me who for some reason think, we need to break the show into seasons. And so my show is this season, this episode, and yeah, I because I'm weird
But
about
no,
it.
honestly, if it was like my decision, I like we try to do things as a group, like, like what does the majority decide? Like I probably would be like, yeah, we like a long time ago break it up into seasons just because I feel
Yeah,
like there are like almost natural points where it does. Like almost like there is a hiatus. Wrestling doesn't have a hiatus, but the beginning of
right.
the year when you get to WrestleMania, it's kind of like the season finale and the
Yeah,
season premiere all in one.
yeah,
So I feel like with podcasts, you could definitely do that. But there's been times like when we upgraded microphones or upgraded like the way our setup is. I mean, we're not even videos, so what am I saying? But like you know what I mean? Like we've
yeah,
upgraded in ways that were like it feels like something fresh. So I guess there could
yeah,
definitely easily be natural season breaks, and it just feels fun. I don't know,
yeah.
season two, season
And
three,
see,
whatever.
it wasn't even like a majority decision. I'm just like, I want to do this, and everyone. Well, back when my podcast was part of a website, they're like, "That's so dumb. Don't do that. Let's just do numbers." Everyone, nobody does seasons. I'm like, nope. I want to be like a TV show. And so yeah, I was just some weird stubborn thing I wanted. Now I'm kind of like, I kind of wish I just would have done numbers because it's I have to go back and remember. Oh yeah, it's season this because this one is going to be. Where'd my mouse go? This one will be season 5, episode 19
Wow.
when
So
this
how
one.
many episodes in total?
Uh,
Thereabouts.
what does that put us at? I think that puts us at so I do 25 episodes a season.
Okay.
So we're almost at the end of season 5. So by the time we get to the end of season 5, that'll be 125.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's a
So
lot, dude.
it's a
That is
lot.
a
And
lot.
it's all just me and
It's exactly.
it's on video, which that's another weird thing for me is out of all the podcasts I've done, none of them have ever been video. But when this one started, we're like, you're gonna do video. I'm like, okay. I mean, I like there's a reason that you hardly ever see pictures of me on social media because I don't like being in front of the camera, but now it's like it's getting easier to do. But again, it's kind of like well, like you said, one of those this wasn't really pandemic like early, but it a little bit into it. It was like, okay, we're gonna it was a call to host a podcast. Like I'm like, I love podcasting. I just hate editing. Like, cool, I'll edit the show if you want to come host it. I'm like, all right, sold. But then it
Nice.
slowly transitioned into, okay, well now you're gonna edit the show because the person editing the show sometimes took forever, or there's a couple of my earlier episodes that got edited with the wrong theme music, and I'm like, rad, cool, okay. So that's weird, but whatever. But anyway, because my theme music's awesome, and so when it comes up and it's not there, I'm like, that's super weird. I've almost actually thought about going re-editing it to put my music in there, but it's too much work. So whatever, whatever. Um, but yeah, so yeah, congrats on that. And
Nice.
video games are awesome. Keep at it. Um, yeah, being an adult playing video games is fucking rough, dude.
It's tough, man.
It's rough. And like me and Anthony, we've got kids, so that makes it even. I don't know if you have kids, Joey, or
I
not, but
don't know. I have a cat. That's
well,
as close
kind of.
as I can get.
You have a fur baby, and that's okay. But yeah,
Yeah.
having kids sometimes makes it hard to play video games too. So
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
I bet.
that's a whole nother challenge.
The last game I played, and funny, you know what? Funnily enough, last time I was on the show, I was talking about Power Wash Simulator.
Yeah, we
They
were.
came out they came
We
out with a
were.
sequel, and that was the last game I played and beat. Like when it was done, I was like, no, I need the DLC now. Like I haven't gotten into any game since.
Yeah, I the other night, because like I said, I've been hooked on Fortnite and everything. Every time I play a video game, it's Fortnite. But they had a big update one time, and I'm like, what am I gonna do now? And I'm like, oh yeah, I haven't played Power Wash Simulator 2 yet. And I love all the new like additions they've made. Like a lot of the
Yeah.
controls are kind of cool, and it feels like it takes way longer to wash stuff in the sequel than it does the first one. Maybe that was just me, but
No, it
it was
does. It
cool
does
though.
because I feel like what they changed most was almost like the progression system where like it's going to take
Yeah,
you longer to upgrade, which is a good thing though, like the way they have it set
yeah,
up. I would like it's a great game, but it like I beat it. I didn't even beat it so fast. I think I like tried to spread it out a few months, and even then it
yeah,
felt like I wish there were like I felt like the first one had more levels even without DLC.
yeah.
But I'm waiting for the DLC for this one because they already announced Adventure Time, which is like what?
No
Okay.
way.
Yeah.
Oh man. And see, Adventure Time isn't a show that I didn't get into when it first came out, like at all.
Same.
And I've tried over the years to watch it. And like I would get one episode and I'm like, this is fucking stupid. I don't want to watch the show anymore. But then I'm like, I probably should give it more than one episode because that's not fair. Just one. So I, gave it a few. Then I'm like, Okay, now I'm hooked. And I don't know if we talked about this last time or not, but yeah, like it's so good now. And I mean, I finished it a little while ago and
Oh,
it was
nice.
it was amazing. I haven't finished Fiona and Cake yet. I got the first season. I haven't watched the second one yet, but it's one of my favorite shows now. And I will not be afraid to admit that it's made me cry a couple times because I mean, there's some tearjerker ones in there, dude. Especially like the Marceline and Simon stuff.
Mm.
That is rough, man.
I never
Especially
got, I unfortunately never got too far into it, but I know like there's like this big twist, or not a twist, you just learn about the world than like what's on the surface when you're
yeah.
like watching it at first. And
Yeah.
that's what's always like sold me about the show, but like I've never not finished it for any like reason like that, like quality wise. Like
Yeah.
I just, haven't found the time to finish Adventure Time, but
I get it. But yeah, see, now that you've had a kid, if when you rewatch it, you'll have the new eyes and
yeah.
some of that stuff, because kind of spoiler, but not really. You'll learn that there was a lot of time where the Ice King, like before he was the Ice King, he took care of Marceline like as a parental figure. And so, like she has all these memories about, their time together and he just doesn't remember that because he's crazy because he's the Ice King now. But you'll see
Oh
episodes
man.
where it focuses on that stuff and
Oh, that sounds
it's
so sad.
it's so deep, dude. It really like retches at you and it's so good. And the really thing I like about it the most is, there's a lot of times on an episode where they'll just have a character that kind of feels like a throwaway character, like okay, whatever, but then a few episodes later, whoop, almost knocked my microphone over.
No-
Never happened before. But a few episodes later, it'll go focus back on that character and kind of do like a whole entire thing about him, and it's so good. It's so good.
I definitely need to watch more.
I would definitely
Yeah, I gotta
advocate
go
for
back
that
and
show
watch it.
for sure.
I'm kind of surprised you haven't seen it, Joey. That seems like it's your kind of show.
You'd think, well, I mean, I know that I've watched the first season because, like, way back when Netflix was still new, well, like, it was new enough that, like, it had been around with discs, but it was trying out, like, hey, watch the shows streaming on our thing. And
Yeah.
they only had, like, limited stuff, and one of them was, like, only the first season of Adventure Time. And I enjoyed it. Like, the first, like you were saying, it was like, it took me a little bit to get into.
Hmm.
By the end of that season, I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. I'd watch more, but they didn't have any more. And then I just, life got in the way and I just never got around to it. But like I'd see things online of like story points and everything like that. So I kind of got like kind of the gist of it, like no super fine details, but it's still like I'd be like, oh, that seems pretty cool. I'll have to go back and check that out. But I just never got around to it.
There's so much deep stuff. Like you'll see certain characters interacting and they kind of are like mad at each other, but then you realize later on that oh, they are mad at each other and this is why, and like it's a really deep, meaningful reason. It's so good. So I'm not that part I'm
I
not
do
going to
love that.
spoil, but it's very good how like they bring something up where there's a conflict and you kind of always wonder what the conflict is and eventually they address it and it's like, "Oh, okay, like I totally
Mm.
get it now." So,
You know what? I'm not even trying to like compare us that much to Adventure Time, that because it seems like, that's a caliber all its own. But
yeah.
there are like things that we're trying to do in Superguy that are kind of like that,
Mhm.
where like we're just kind of giving you drops of a character or just like a line here before you get to actually know like why is that character there? Why are they acting that way?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's super obvious, but like I like that as a storyteller. I don't know. That's what
Yeah.
like keeps me hooked.
Same.
It's.
Absolutely. Yeah, you don't want to give them all everything up at front at once. Like, one thing I like to use kind of an example is like the Incredibles movies. Like, there are
Mm,
all these characters that have superpowers, but like you don't know why they have powers. You don't know where the powers came from. You don't know, how these people got their powers. You don't know anything about, generations before them. Like we don't know about Mr. Incredible's parents, if they were superpowered or not, or if they were, what kind of powers they had. And, sometimes it doesn't matter. Like,
yeah, I guess I never questioned that about Incredibles, but
right?
you're
Like
absolutely right.
it's something that's never really brought up. It's just, hey, it's a world where superheroes exist and it's just a normal thing. But they never, almost every superhero story ever, they always talk about like, where the powers came from, whether it's inherited or whether it's some kind of magical item or, just any other or may just manifest because of mutation or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
But, they never address that in The Incredibles. And so it's like, maybe it's something they eventually address. But, I posed a question on Twitter one time back years ago before Twitter was awful. I mean, it's always kind of been awful, but anyway, Kurt Busiek is one of my favorite writers, and I kind of just
Mm.
posed a question about, because Astro City is one of my favorite series, and I kind of mentioned, in Astro City, for the most part, they don't even really address, where some of the characters' powers come from, and I don't know why decided to respond to me that day, and it was kind of awesome that he took the time to do it, but he basically said, when he writes, he doesn't really think about where the power comes from. He just likes to write a good story. And if, the power helps tell the story, then, you'll add it in there. But like when it comes to like background stuff, like if how a character got their power doesn't really fit to the story, don't try and make it fit. Just go with it. You can always address it later if a story, warrants you have to bring up the power that or how they got their power that way. But um
No, you
if,
bring up another really cool point too,
if it
and
doesn't
that's
matter, if it doesn't matter, don't worry about it.
yeah, and
Hmm.
that is kind of literally my thinking with Superguy or our thinking with
Yeah.
Superguy. Like we've talked about, like we've actually never decided or really like even got close to like what's his origin? You know, like how did he get his powers?
Yeah.
What is this like? So and for that reason exactly, it's not really important to the story at all, or at
Yeah.
least at
Yeah.
this point. And until we figure that out or like find a good reason for it, you won't see it. Like a few
Yeah.
people, a handful of people have always asked, like, how did he get his powers? It's honestly just not that kind of story. Like,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
has and in a way it's just like what would change about the character if we knew like some people like their character you need to know why they have their powers, but like for Super Guy it's more like again, what does he do with his powers?
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
almost nothing. So like that's what but that's what, his drama comes from, and like his
Yeah.
motivations like I have powers, but I'm choosing not to use them. I think that's way more interesting, at least, than like how did he get his powers? You know?
Oh,
Yeah.
100%. 100%. Like, if the why isn't relative to this, you want to focus on telling a good story. And, the superpower is kind of just the part that enhances the story. But if, the reason the power's there doesn't fit the story you're trying to tell, then don't worry about telling it until it matters. And a lot of times it doesn't matter. And that's, kind of one of the things that makes Astro City awesome. It makes The Incredibles awesome and it makes Super Guy awesome. Just eventually you might get to the point where it matters to tell, where the power came from. But if it never gets to that point, then that's fine too.
But you know what? I would have never drawn that line from Super Guy to Incredibles and Astro City. Seriously, like that's awesome. That's awesome. I like that line, but I would have never.
You can have that for free. Right on. All right. So, I don't want to get too off track. We are going to talk about Super Guy. But Joey, we haven't got a chance to ask you. We want to get in the Wayback Machine and find out, what it was, back when little Joey decided he wanted to be an artist. What was it that inspired you to become an artist in the first place?
That's a good question. I've been like drawing as far as I can remember. So like I guess probably Disney movies made me want to
Okay.
draw. 'Cause that's the only thing I can think. Because like literally, like some of my earlier memories is just like doodling on a, like a paper pad or like, going to church and like stapling uh, paper together to make my own drawing book and sitting backward
Nice.
on the pew, which my mom hated. But I was like, whatever. Like I'm a little 5 year old. I'm using this
Yeah.
as a desk because I got work to do, and like I'm
Yeah.
drawing. Um, yeah, like yeah, it's just always been in my blood, I guess. You know.
Nice. Very cool. It's nice when something you've done as a kid kind of just sticks with you. And it's
Mhm.
nice when you've got parents that support you because, not everyone has that kind of support system. So it's good that, you know, your parents helped encourage you to kind of keep at it. So that's cool.
Yeah,
Very cool.
yeah, they're pretty cool.
Now, Tony, I need to ask you. So you mentioned with
Let's do it.
Chronics, Comic and Chronics recently, you guys talked about Wonder Man. Wonder Man is not a show that I've seen just yet. Like we've talked about because life happens and for reasons, there's all sorts of other stuff that comes up. So what did you think of the show?
I absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
like for me, the MCU has been slacking lately in a lot of ways. There has been like high points still, but back in the day, it would be like no matter what MCU came out with, I was showing up for it. No matter what
Yeah.
was there. And
Yeah.
I want to still be that way. I don't care like if on the podcast I'm called the MCU fanboy, like because I do like a lot of what they do.
Sure.
So I'll always give any of their shows a shot. Sometimes I like struggle through them. Like Echo, I kind of struggled through. I didn't really like that show. I know a lot of people liked it. It just wasn't for me. But yet I still
Sure.
gave it a shot, even if I
Yeah.
hated it like 3 episodes in. I was like, whatever, I'm finishing it. Secret
Yeah.
Invasion is another great example of that.
Uh,
And so those shows kind of soured the MCU a little bit for me. So I still haven't seen Ironheart, but I did check out the first 2 episodes and I really liked it. And so Wonder Man was just like, I'll give it a shot, of course. And as soon as episode 1 was done, I was ready to click next. And be just for that reason alone, I think it was like without spoiling anything, it just there was something about it. There was a quality to it that I don't think we've ever really seen in the MCU, or like nothing comes that close to it. Maybe WandaVision, but I still think the more I like think about this show, there's just it's I don't know, it's just something different. Like it doesn't you don't really need to have seen anything else in the MCU. Maybe Iron Man 3 just for the sake of Ben Kingsley's character. But really like it's not a superhero show by any means. It doesn't really feel connected to the MCU, and it's not a bad thing. There are parts of the show that yes, like there's damage control. They play a big part in the show. But it's really about the characters, and the characters like work really well together. The actors are both great. uh Everything about the show, it's hilarious too. It's one of the funniest MCU shows I've seen.
Nice.
Joey, you've seen it too. Am I wrong?
yeah, no, I agree 100% with all of that. Plus, like the way that it's shot is
Yes.
gorgeous. It just looks beautiful from start to finish. And like that was one of the things that like me and my girlfriend were noticing. Like even in the first episode, we were like, "Wow, this looks fantastic," and it was, and it's so good. And like we're already being like, "Oh, we gotta you know rewatch it again." Like already, we just finished it like last week, but we want to watch it again. That's
Nice.
kind of rare with at least with Marvel shows,
Yeah.
you know, at least in our household. But it's just such a good show. Fantastic.
That's awesome. I'm super behind on all the Marvel shows, and I need to really catch up, especially on Daredevil, because
Oh, that's a good one too.
Vincent
Yeah.
D'Onofrio as Kingpin is just so perfect, and he's so incredible.
Love them.
Oh
No,
my
I'm
God.
excited for the new season too. But also I would say for Wonder Man, another thing about it is like the episodes are shorter.
Yeah.
So I was able to binge it. I don't like really that they put out every episode at once,
Yeah.
like literally at once, all 8 episodes. So it's a short season. And like you could watch like 2 or 3 episodes in the span of something that like, a longer prestige show might take like an hour. So I like that about it. Like you can bang it out pretty quick. So if you don't
Yeah.
have time to watch TV, I think it's a great show for that. Like you're not bogged down with lore or canon or backstory. Like each episode is just kind of its own mini adventure in a lot of ways.
That's cool.
But there is like, like dude, highly recommend. Push it like as far to the top of
Okay.
the list as
Okay.
you can.
Fair enough. And I had heard that it was the most un-MCU show, the most
Yes.
un-MCU
Yeah.
MCU show ever.
Yeah.
That's all I've heard.
Yeah.
I interviewed someone last week. Her name's Amy. She's a pretty big Marvel fan, and I mentioned that comment, and she was like, "Yeah, kinda." And I don't think really either one of us knew what that meant because I still didn't really know what it meant. But after hearing what you said, like having it be the most un-MCU MCU show ever, that your explanation makes it make sense.
They were
I
they were
hope it
like
didn't spoil it,
huge. No, there were like huge parts where like I would forget that it was an MCU show until
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Okay.
something would happen. Like, oh, that's right. You're right, right, right. But that's how
Nice.
it just doesn't. It just feels like a regular show that just happens to have MCU characters in it.
Like I
Nice.
almost feel
All
like
right.
even if an MCU character that like was really recognizable popped up, it might be like, what are you doing here? Like,
Yeah, they
That's
feel a little
awesome.
out of place.
yeah.
That's awesome. And I also have to ask because I saw it in the post for the Comics and Chronics episode, Training Day. Have you seen Training Day yet?
Since last week, no, I haven't.
Ah, dude, that's such a good movie. That kind of dates me because I think I saw it in the movie theater, so that kind of just dates how old I am. Um,
No, I'm just a buffoon. That's why I haven't seen
well, and
it.
I had it on VHS, so that also kind of that dates me a little bit too. But God, that movie's so good, dude.
No, I'm from the VHS era. I'm telling you, there's plenty of movies that I should have seen at the age it came out that I just didn't see.
Oh,
Maybe
There's a
Training Day
whole
isn't
list.
specifically that, but yeah, Joey
I'm
keeps a list.
I'm right there too. There's a bunch of stuff from like the 80s. Like basically you name almost any classic from the 80s. I've either not seen it or I've just seen it recently. So
Oh, I
yeah,
did just watch Enemy
I get that.
Mine.
I
Have you
saw that.
guys?
I've
ha-
never even heard of that.
Oh, watch it. It's so good. It's so good.
Okay. I'm gonna have to look
It's
because yeah,
Dennis Quaid and Lou Gossett Jr. in alien
okay.
makeup, and they're just surviving together as bros on a planet. But at first, you could understand maybe as I describe it why I might like it, Joey. But they're just like bros who hate each other at first, and then they're hanging out on the planet, and they have to survive, and they learn to just like be bros and like they always
Yeah.
want to escape, but they come from like different races that hate each other. Like Dennis Quaid is a human, and Lou Gossett Jr. is some alien race. I forget what they're called, but there's so much heart to the movie. Like that movie legit almost made me cry by the end of it, and I was just like, I wasn't expecting that.
Oh
So
shit!
they're
I'll have to add that to my list.
Yeah.
friends of convenience.
yeah,
Nice. Okay.
yeah, exactly, exactly.
Very cool.
Hell yeah.
All right. So Joey, I need to ask
Yes.
you, what was it that got you interested in comic books in the first place? Kind of still going back down
Yeah.
that nostalgia rabbit
Um.
hole.
Well, you know what? Like from an early age, I was always like skipping right to the comic section of the newspaper. Like I didn't care about any current events or anything. I was just going
Yeah.
right to the comics, and especially on Sundays when like they were longer and in
Yep.
color, that was
Me
especially
too.
exciting.
Yeah.
I didn't read a ton of actual comic books when I was younger. Like I read a lot of like Archie, like just a ton of Archie
Love Archie.
comics.
Yeah.
But like I didn't truly appreciate like the classic comic books, like like superheroes and graphic novels, Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, all of them, until I don't know, probably high school, like when the movies started coming out, because like I was just wasn't as interested in them. Like even like
Yeah.
the animated cartoons, I was like, these are too serious. I want wacky. I want shenanigans. Give me Animaniacs. I don't care about the X-Men. I just didn't appreciate them until like later on in life.
Oh, that
Um,
animated stuff is so good.
Wait,
I
Joey,
know.
keep
Going
that
back,
keep
it's
that in
just
your head. Animaniacs slash X-Men.
Yeah, you
I
better
mean, I would
you
watch
better
that.
TM that idea right now for someone
There
comes
we
in.
go. Oh, you heard it here first. It's if anyone takes the idea, we have it right here. Um, but yeah, like I started, I guess, reading more traditional comic books. I don't know, probably like more like a decade ago, I guess. Like once I started like hanging out with Jake, and then he'd recommend some, and then like once the Comics and Chronic podcast started, and my algorithm started listening, and lots of my Instagram posts were like comic book related, and I was like, oh, here's a bunch of like I'm learning so much. This is really kind of cool. And like, wow, all these storylines that like I thought were like from a long time ago. Those is 2005. That was like like holy shit. A lot of this is super recent and like kind of pretty cool. And I got more uh and more interested in checking out like different stories. And like I downloaded Comixology for a minute. Um and I I'm really starting my own comic book collection now, which is pretty exciting. It's nowhere near Anthony's. That thing is just, you know, huge, gigantic. But
Bro.
I've got a good stack, and it's pretty cool and it's exciting. And there's a few that I haven't read yet that I'm excited to read. And I find like the more that I do read, my art gets better. Like I absorb how you can draw things by reading it, and then like when I have to draw something, I'm like, oh yeah, that's how it kind of looks, and that's also very exciting for me as an artist to kind of incorporate the things that I see into my own,
Very cool.
and
That's awesome,
ever
man.
evolving.
That's cool. Absolutely. You got to always change and adapt.
Oh yeah.
All right, man. So, Tony, we can't let this go by without having a little bit of wrestling talk.
Ooh.
So, just recently, and we're taking spoiler warnings off because it's been long enough. It doesn't matter. Everyone already
Oh.
knows that wants to know. But the Royal Rumble has come and gone. Did you watch it? What are your thoughts on the winners? What do also, being someone who used to be ingratiated and all of that stuff. Um, what do you think of the show?
So I really haven't kept up. So I didn't see the Royal Rumble. But I Roman Reigns won, right? He won the
Yeah.
men's Royal Rumble. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. Like Roman Reigns was always such a hard sell for me. It always felt like, when he was in the Shield, easy to like. You like that
He
dude. He was like
didn't
the
he didn't
muscle.
he didn't talk, and they always focused on Seth and Dean, aka
Right.
John.
And when you needed him to like do his, and then he'd come
Yeah,
in and spear you and punch you in the face, then that's cool. That sometimes works really well for certain like gimmicks.
yeah,
Um, but it was cool to see him step into that bloodline role and become the OG Roman Reigns that we see now, like he's
yeah,
just like yeah, he's definitely the closest to like this new generation's like big top star, like The Rock, Stone Cold level. And that's really cool to see, despite, me just hating on him for like uh half his career. But like that's the cool thing about wrestling, I guess, to just see like the paths that all these wrestlers take. They could like start as literal nobodies,
yeah.
and then get to certain points. But I feel like I don't know what it like him winning the Royal Rumble, I feel like Royal Rumble should be like a pay-per-view that puts a guy over. Like, oh my God, that dude won, like Jay Uso winning the Royal Rumble. That's a cool decision,
Yep.
maybe a little controversial, but
It was
it gives
it
him
was different.
yeah, and it gave him a push that he needed, at least from my perspective and when I was watching there. But like to give it to like I don't want to call him an older dude, but at this point he's one of he's not like a Brock Lesnar older dude, but Roman
Right.
Reigns is like a certain level above a lot of other superstars now. So I don't know. I don't know. Like I feel like the Triple H era from everything I've heard is more of a dud. Maybe it started off pretty strong, but it seems like from the murmurings I hear online, like people just don't really like the new I don't know, direction it's going. What
Yeah,
do you think?
so I caught some of it. I agree with you. And I get hate on this all the time, but I still don't get Roman Reigns. Like, I don't get why everyone thinks he's so cool. I just don't get the hype. Like, I not me.
Few
I don't
points, man. Few
acknowledge
points.
I don't acknowledge my tribal chief because I just and everyone's like, well, he was a champ for all this time, and he was like, no, that wasn't his achievement. That was Vince's pencil achievement. Like he only was champ that long because someone said they want him to be champ that long. Like it wasn't something like he put the work in, did all the physical
For
stuff,
sure.
sure. But like anybody could have changed their mind. He could have just lost. He didn't have to be champion for that long. Like so I don't get it. I'm never gonna get it. I was with you like he's in the Shield, like he didn't talk ever. So like you don't really focus on him. You just focus on the other two that talk all the time. And I'm huge Dean Ambrose slash John Moxley fan, huge big time.
Yeah, he's
Seth kind
awesome.
Seth kind of grows on me just depending on when his gimmick he had where he came out in the clothes and danced around and stuff. I thought that was fun, and he had even said like it's a really fun time. A lot of people hate that gimmick, and like he's having
It's
fun,
silly.
man. Like it's
Yeah,
weird. It's weird, but like wrestling has too much serious stuff in it. Let it be a little bit weird. Like back in the day when wrestling was super weird. But I'm with you. I think it should have been more a newer guy being put over because like you said, Jey Uso, like you thought Cena was gonna win, but then Jey won, so it was
yeah.
totally unexpected.
It's like
When
weirdly in that situation, I kind of wanted John Cena to win. Like it
Oh
would have
yeah,
meant
me too.
something, you know?
His last year would have been perfect. But I'm okay with Jey winning because it's something that I didn't expect. Because
Sure, yeah.
everybody expected John to win because it's his last year in wrestling and blah blah blah. But when Roman came out, I'm like, oh, or when he even announced, I was like, all right, Roman's gonna win. Like I know Brock's in here, I know Gunther's gonna be in here, and Roman just threw him around like it was nothing. And I was like, you've built this guy up as like the career ender. He's already retired three people now, but you just have Roman come in here and just throw him around like he's nothing. Like
Yep.
that's weird, inconsistent booking.
The power scaling is off.
Yeah, and yes, the Triple H started out awesome. He did incredible when he was running NXT. But
Yeah.
it's slowly like I don't know how many more times I can see Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre, or like they'll just like he doesn't know how to end feuds, and that's ridiculous. You see the same two people wrestle. I mean, I had the same problem at the tail end of Vince's where, I don't know how many times you see, you know, um, Cesaro and Sheamus wrestle like
Yeah, all the time.
all the time. And it's like now Triple H is kind of falling into that, and it's kind of annoying. But yeah, I mean, there was a number of other guys that they could have easily, like LA Knight, they could have thrown it on him because he definitely deserves something. It just seems like that guy, they get him right to the level and then they just don't do anything with him, which sucks.
Yep.
But yeah, Roman was kind of like of course he's gonna win. Liv Morgan won the Ladies Royal Rumble. That was awesome because the last couple of years she's come up as runner up
Oh,
and
nice.
like
Okay.
final three, final two, and for her to finally win it was kind of cool. And like you said, so going from like a nobody to a big time somebody. When she first started in NXT, she was this girl who said, "I'm from Jersey and blah blah blah. I'm cool," and she bounced around all this stuff, and it was kind of weird. But she's come a long way since those first days. Like if you go Google her entrances from NXT from when she first started, you'll see a huge difference between then and now. It's incredible the growth she's had. But
Yeah, like I said, that's awesome to see with a lot of wrestlers. They put in the work and they
yeah.
really get far.
So Liv, I'm happy with because like I said, she's come up runner up the last couple of years, so it's cool that she finally won it. But yeah, Roman, I think they should have used that for somebody else. All right.
Agreed.
So we had to get some wrestling talk in there, Joey. I apologize. I'm not sure if you're a fan of wrestling or not, but
I don't really follow, but no
I
worries.
I'm a big fan. I know Joey used to be all in the mix up in the WWE, and I don't get to talk about wrestling that much. So any chance I get, I got to try to squeeze a little bit in.
It's all good. I
Oh
mean, I
yeah.
recognize John Cena, so like I wasn't fully.
I mean, who
Wait,
doesn't
you could see
recognize
him?
John?
There are a few who can.
That's awesome.
The Dune music plays.
All right, gents. So it's time to talk about Super Guy number two.
Oh yeah.
Hey,
The big one we're here all to talk about. So for those who did not watch the last episode where I talked to Tony about Super Guy number one, why don't we take a minute? For those who don't know about Super Guy, let's take a minute to talk about what Super Guy is, who Super Guy is.
Sure. So Superguy is a lazy superhero. Think of him as Superman if Superman decided not to use his powers and instead decided to sit on the couch and just, eat some snacks, watch TV. But what if he also had a robot sidekick that he made do all the work and took all the credit for all the work his robot sidekick did? And that's really the gist of Superguy. He has this relationship with his sidekick, Robot Guy. In the first issue, what we see is Robot Guy saving the city from a meteor that's about to crash into it. Superguy takes the credit. Robot Guy kind of has a moment where he's like, I want to be a hero. I don't want, why am I following this guy? And the story in the first one goes from there. I guess, the first one, I guess I got to spoil it to talk about the second one. So at the end of the first one, as the issue one progresses, Superguy and Robot Guy get into an argument and then into a full blown out battle across the big city, where Superguy is the hero of the big city, and it ends with them kind of having a knockdown, drag out brawl. In the middle of the street, they both collapse. It's very much a nod to the death of Superman. In the silliest way possible. But they decide, hey, we're not going to be partners anymore. Superguy doesn't need a sidekick. Robot Guy doesn't want to be a sidekick. So as the second issue starts off, Superguy's kind of licking his wounds. Robot Guy is kind of just, saving the day himself. He is a real hero. He wants to save the day. So he's, going out protecting the big city. He runs into a new villain called the Package Thief. And Superguy in this issue is dealing with another new character. We get a glimpse of her at the end of issue one. Her name is Hot Mess. And she's like our Hulk. So she is out destroying the city, looking for Superguy, and she'll do anything to beat the crap out of him. So the second issue is titled My Date with the President's Daughter. From all that, you might be able to figure out who the president's daughter might be in that scenario. Um, oh, but this is all following from our one shot. So what the big thing about Super Guy is like we're building a story from the one shot to across the big four issues that we want to do, and possibly more, hopefully more,
Hopefully
at
more.
least for the first arc. And so like no detail goes unnoticed or unused, let's say. Everything is very purposeful what we're doing. Joey will put things in the art that are just like perfect details that like are not in the script but like influence the story and shape characters in ways that just like I text him up until any day, like you know, I'm still catching things that maybe he sent me pages weeks ago and I'm like, wait a minute, this was there the whole time, you know, like so like it's Super Guy is a very silly story, but we very much are detail oriented. So like there's nothing that we put in each issue that isn't important, let's say. Maybe there's throwaway gags, but most of the time really not. Um and so with this Kickstarter, I guess what I want to stress is that it's okay if this is your first time hearing about Super Guy because we're going to provide all that backstory for you. So not only can you get the second issue, which is the new issue coming out, but we also have a reprint. It's a new edition. I don't want to say a reprint, but it is a reprint of the first issue. But this has never been available before. It's new to the Kickstarter. It also includes the 10-page one shot. So you're going to get the full beginning story in one nice super deluxe issue. It's the super deluxe edition. And so you
Super
can get
deluxe
that
guy.
super deluxe guy, and you can get that along with a new issue 2. So that's what really like this Kickstarter is all about. We have a lot of cool covers to go along with issue 2, a few different variants, and then you can get those all together. And that's like the biggest stress of this campaign that we have. And I don't mean stress like causing me stress. Like this is what we want people to check
Yeah.
out. Because we got some really cool art from Ahmed Rafet. He did a variant on our first issue. We have Adrian Cleric, who is a Canadian artist. If you've seen his work, it's so distinct, it's so cool, it's so out there. And he did a cover for us. Andrew Drillin, who does some art for DC. He did a really cool Batman homage cover for us. It's going to be if you could see it now, actually, I mean, you could see it at any point where the campaign's live. I'm assuming by the time this is out.
Yeah.
But it's a homage to Bane breaking Batman's back, except this is Hot Mess and Super Guy. One of the coolest pieces of art we've gotten for Super Guy. We also have a print from Andrea Schiavone. He's an Italian artist, and he did this really cool Super Guy selfie with like
That's one of my
asteroids
favorite
and
ones.
meteors
It's
crashing.
so cool.
Oh, it's so cool.
good.
It's
So
really,
good.
really cool.
Everybody who backs any if you get a physical copy of the comic, you're gonna get a free print from what the artist is named Wizard Shit, and he's you can find him on Instagram. And he blew us away with like this piece that he did of Superguy and Robot Guy. Like it still like is blowing my mind just like imagining it. It like it has all it's just I don't know, you just have to see it. Like you just have to see it. Like it's a no-brainer that we want to just give it to everybody because it's just so cool. You know, like it's just all the art we've gotten for Superguy, Joey's included, is just always next level, I feel like. It makes me more confident putting a comic out, you know, being an indie creator. I feel like sometimes indie created comics, the art is not always on point, and that could be like, you know, push people away from wanting to support someone that's just starting off, you know, like it's just everyone starts somewhere. But I really feel like with Super Guy, like up front, it's just like, look at this. This is awesome, you know? And to even kind of sweeten that, we have this it's very exclusive. Joey's only doing 6 of these, but Joey's gonna do 6 sketch covers.
Oh, nice.
So you could get exclusive art that Joey's going to make just for you, and you'll be the only one that has it as part of this Kickstarter. I think that's one of the coolest things as well.
It's
pretty cool.
Yeah. Sorry, I just feel like I was just like boom for like
no,
10
you're
minutes.
good.
No, that was great.
You're good, man. That's awesome. Yeah, that kind of led into something else we're going to talk about. So that's awesome. Real quick before we go a little bit deeper into that, Joey, why don't we hear from you a little bit about, you know, what, you know, brought you guys together to create. I want to hear from your perspective about what brought you guys together to create Super Guy, and just, you know, talk about Super Guy a little bit just from your perspective and what kind of drew you to the character.
Sure. Well, as we said before, Anthony and I were brought together through our mutual friend, Jake, uh, through the logo drawing of the podcast, Comics and
Yeah.
Chronic. Flash forward, I don't know how many years. I guess Anthony had been approached by this anthology series to do like a 10-page comic of like a buddy superhero thing. And apparently I was the first one to come to his mind for doing the art, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Um, and he was like, here's a couple ideas. What kind of sticks out to you? And there was a few of them that were pretty good, but Superguy really, drew my eye, and I couldn't, you know, stop thinking about that one. So, ultimately we decided to go on there. I don't know. It was super easy. Just like our collaboration. Like it just felt like we were like from day one just on the same page with things. Like there was rarely any of like, well, what about this? Well, what about this? Well, what if we do it like this? It was mostly like, would it be cool if this? Yes, perfect. And then this would be awesome. Oh, yes, this is exactly. And like, so he writes the script. He sends it to me. I'm laughing out loud reading it. Like I draw like the first few sketches of, and send it to him. And he's like, this is exactly how I pictured it when I was writing it, which, is always a good thing to hear. And it's just been kind of that again and again and again. It really
I
hasn't,
love that.
there hasn't been like any kind of like headbutting or anything. It's just been a super easy collaborative experience.
Very cool. Now, we mentioned that this issue is all about, my date with the president's daughter. What
Yes.
did you guys, what inspired this particular story? Did you kind of pull any ideas from somewhere? Where did you come up with the idea? Is it like a big overarching story that we're now just seeing the next part of, or how did you guys put that together?
Yeah, it is kind of like a overarching story. I mean, like I was saying before, like, each step, each issue is, the thing that's happening before it is on purpose, and we're following that.
Yeah.
So the first time you ever hear about the president's daughter is in the Superguy one shot. She's been kidnapped by aliens. The aliens are Robot Guy and his robot people. Superguy's supposed to save her, and he does not. And presumably she's dead or severely injured on the White House lawn. We don't ever see that in the one shot, but it's there. It's very subtle, but this story is kind of there. It's not the main focus, but you could piece it together. And so at the end of the first issue, we get a tease of the president's daughter after she's been chemically altered. Let's say we don't know. The president gave her something to revive her, or
Yeah.
we don't know. We don't know that story. We haven't told it yet. But she's now hot mess. Again, she's our Hulk, so she's just like a big pink monster. And she's pissed at Superguy, and that's her whole motivation. She's mad. She's blamed Superguy for the condition that she's in. Little does she know that Robot Guy was the invading alien force. There's some drama there that we haven't touched on. But so yeah, we have a story we're trying to tell. All these characters will continue to pop up. Hot Mess is not a one and done character. She will see in the events of this issue, which is titled My Date with the President's Daughter. You could kind of see where it might be going if you want to take it literally. But that title itself is actually based on a Disney Channel original movie.
I remember that.
It was, you might have seen it. It was
Yep.
not like one of those movies that are like, oh, I remember it because it was so good. It was just like, it had this really cool theme song, and it was just like, I don't know, if you were at the right age and you saw that movie, you were just like, it was kind of cool. I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah, it had Will Friedle in it. Will Friedle's awesome.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't hate it just for that reason alone.
Yep. Yep.
So like it's not like it's following the plot of that movie by any means, but I mean there's really the plot of that movie is the title. He goes on a date with the
Yeah.
president's daughter, So we pull a little bit from that. By the way, there's multiple movies where someone goes on a date with the president's daughter.
True.
They just don't call it that.
Yeah.
There's like First Date with I think Katie Holmes. There's a Mandy Moore movie about when
Yeah.
she's the president's daughter. So there's a lot to pull from that.
But the theme
but I
songs
did
aren't
it.
as the theme songs aren't as catchy though.
Exactly. So I
No.
didn't even bother
Yeah.
to watch them. They're not inspiring me.
Yeah.
But yeah, like we're trying to tell a larger story. And I know, like, as indie creators, each issue is a blessing if people fund us and if people want to keep reading. So we might be a bit ambitious trying to tell a larger story, but that never is sacrificed for just telling in each issue, trying to tell a full, complete, fun story. And that's especially what you're getting in this. In the first one, I think someone told me like on page like 10, you could have ended it there. Like a normal comic would have, and this wasn't like a negative. They're like a normal comic might have just said, all right, we'll find out what's going to happen from that point. But you gave us that and more. And that made me like really like the comic. Cause like, and that's part of like making it 28 pages too, which is a bit
Yeah.
beefier than a normal size comic. Because yes, we're indie people, it's a harder sell. Our books are going to cost a little more because we're not Marvel and DC or Image. We're not big publishers. Right. We can't afford to give you like a $4 comic, even if we wanted to. And so that's why the Kickstarter is so important to try to fund this. Everything for the Kickstarter, like Joey's going to get paid. Everyone gets paid no matter what. But if we could get money back from the Kickstarter, that always helps. It helps my wallet specifically, but it helps make Superguy. But really, it's more like almost like a vote of confidence, right? It's like I know people out there want to support it and want to read more or see more at least. So like it means a lot when people back it. But like to plan for like the future, there's a lot in the story itself that we're like, okay, like, another big thing is at the end of the first issue, we see Robot Guy's a sister who is like the empress of his people. We don't really get much except 2 pages. You might see her again in this issue, who knows? But she's like almost like a Thanos figure, if you could think of it as that, right? Like it's almost like a post credit where she's not coming in this arc, but we're gonna see her in the future, like we're not the reader. The characters, the story isn't ready for her yet, but she's brewing. She's on her way here. And so again, I don't know if that's too ambitious, but like me and Joey like know the ideas and know where we're going. And the issues are like just almost stepping stones, but like those stepping stones are not just like how we're stepping to get to the next part, but like it's boosting the story. I don't know. Maybe it's more like a pyramid, like we're getting to the top. Like there's bigger ideas than might seem on the surface with like who Superguy is, who Robot Guy is, what this world is, like, and we drop hints, especially in this issue. We introduce Glorious Guy, like who's Glorious Guy? Who knows? We'll learn about him. But like just things that make the world, at least to me, and I'm sure to Joey, like feel like it's lived in and feel like it's not just like you might have just stepped into it because we're in issue 2. But things have been happening in this world way before that, like there's a history to it and there's more to come, and Superguy is again, he's never the character where we're trying to make you to get you to like him. We want you to love the comic, of course, but like, we put him through the ringer because he deserves it.
Yeah,
absolutely. Now you mentioned there's a whole bunch of good stuff included in the Kickstarter. And by the way, this will drop next Wednesday.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
So by the time this comes out, the Kickstarter will be a little over a week out, or a week in, I guess. So make sure everybody check it out. And it's cool that you guys are including issue 1, and it's cool you're including the one shot because sometimes Kickstarters don't make the previous stuff available. So it's cool that you guys are doing that.
Well, especially because like as a reader, I read a lot of comics. Like if you wanted me to buy your second issue, but I can't even read the first because I missed it or whatever, then that's a hard sell. I'm trying to make it as easy as possible, like, hey, you have and also if you bought every version of Superguy #1 the first time around, you still have something new.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to offer something for everyone, even if you are the most diehard Superguy fan. There's stuff in this Kickstarter you just don't have yet.
Yeah, speaking of that, you had a lot of really cool extras in the first Kickstarter. Do you have anything planned like that for this new one?
Not as much. Is there something specific you're referring to? Like, was there a specific extra that you thought?
Well, you had like magnets and you had like little like stand-up things, I think, if I remember. Just you had lots of cool little extras. I just didn't know if you had anything similar, if you're going to bring any of that back for this one, or if you had new things in mind.
Yeah, this time around we're not really like doing that kind of stuff. Like we just have like the extra print that we're giving around, giving to everybody. But also if you're the first 25 backers, so if that's probably passed, hopefully passed by the time the episode comes out by the week after. Um, but if you're one of the first 25 backers, we're giving a free print that Joey did a Superman parody where he's, you know, in the movie there's the moment where he's like eyes up here, you know, he like tricks the monster, or
Yeah.
I forget who he's fighting.
Yeah.
I think
Uh, the kaiju, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
And so I figured, you know, we both figured that would be a funny moment for Superguy. I mean, eyes up here, you know, he's not
He's
wearing
just-
any pants. So.
He's like standing in his whitey tighties.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. All right, guys. So,
But yeah.
oh
Sorry,
no, go
sorry.
ahead. Go ahead. You're good. You're good. Go ahead.
No. I myself am making sure I didn't miss anything. But yeah, like it's not, we don't really have a lot of small extras. We really just kind of went all out with the covers. Try to make him hard to resist, you know.
For
Mhm.
sure. And yeah, that's cool. I mean, you know, every once in a while, you know, some of those extra stuff is fun. But, you know, a lot of times people are just looking for the book. So that's cool. Totally focus on that. That's awesome. So this Kickstarter, you know, is just getting ready to launch at this point, but at the point we release, it'll already be launched. But I want to look ahead and see, you know, after this Kickstarter, what do you guys have planned coming up next for that? You know, if that's something you can talk about already.
Oh, you mean like future super guy?
Well, like so after this Kickstarter is done, you guys have successfully fulfilled it because again, we're going to be manifesting here. You have this another successful campaign. You've
Sure.
got it all fulfilled. You got everything shipped out. What's your plan for the next project? Is it gonna be more super guide? Do you guys have other stuff in the works you guys are working on?
I think with us two, it'd be Superguy issue 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Like, I mean, for me, like, you know, I'm sure, like Joey, you're kind of answering the question, but it's always like, I always, you know, before we started the second issue, I was like, Joey, like, do you want to like go full steam ahead with this? Because it's like,
Hell yeah.
there's no other way to do it, basically.
Yeah.
Especially because as an artist, I know it's gonna take Joey's time more than mine. Like it's just that's the simple fact of making it. So like I always want to make sure you, Joey, are always on board, and like obviously you are, and I knew that. But so yeah, like we're definitely gonna work on issue 3. How fast that comes out is a different story, you know. Like definitely a break in between issues is I mean I'm sure good for your sanity, Joey, unless like you know you're ready to go ahead. I definitely have to finish the script for issue 3, you know.
Yeah.
While I know what's gonna happen, it's not all there yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, if we could do one of these a year, I think we can't go any faster than that. It's just that's reality. But like what I'm gonna try to do so that Joey, you know, doesn't even feel rushed, and that, you know, something that, you know, we've talked about too is like I always want Joey to, like, Joey is super guy just as much as I'm super guy, you know, like it doesn't exist without either one of us. So like he's always like the driving art for it, but seeing how other people interpret the character is always so much fun for both of us, honestly. You know, like I always send him any art that anyone does. We've gotten fan art in the past. It's really cool. But it's just always so interesting to me, at least, like how everyone just does the same characters. Even Robot Guy, who like I feel like is like simple, but like in a cool way. But like he has so many details that anyone could do their own interpretation of him and still make it look different. And even Super Guy to that same point. And it's just fascinating to me. And so like I want to take advantage of that. And so one idea I have is to do an anthology of like 1 to 4 page short stories. I would be writing all of them, but each story would feature a different artist, all in black and white. So like the idea being I could work with different artists at the same time to get multiple stories out there in a separate book from what Joey is working on. So this would be more like we're going to get some backstory. Whether or not you get Superguy's origin is, you know, might be part of the mystery. But so to that point, to get more Superguy out there, but to also always have the main story still like driving forward. Like we just don't have the one luxury we don't have is time to make it, right? Like if we could do more than one issue a year, that would be amazing. But I want to get the full story out there. We want to get the full story out there. That's why I say 4 issues, right? 6 issues would be cool. That a lot of comics are 5 to 6 issues. 4 issues is just more doable and it's easier for us to get it out there. So the master plan, really, I'm revealing this, I guess. I don't know if I could, if it's going to happen. We're going to try our damn best to make it happen. Is to have Joey's 4 full issues of the main series, have this anthology, and then have a second similar one shot to that anthology that focuses more on Robot Guy and his past, so that by the time Joey's done with issue 4, we have 6 issues of Superguy that we could put out in a nice collected edition. And I think that would really be the point where if we can't get you to listen or read single issues, which I get it as a normal comic reader, you know, you might just buy trades or you just don't. There could be a million different reasons, but I think a trade might be the easiest way to convince someone to check out the story. I think going back to how we're planning everything, details are important. If you have the whole story in one book, I think it's just going to feel like, you know, they are chapters in a larger story, right? At least that's how I approach it as a writer. And so, like, if you just took a random chapter out of your favorite book, you know, or you just read chapter 1 of your favorite book and you had to wait a year to read the next chapter, you know, let's just say they're long chapters, they're at least 30 pages, right? Like, that's kind of a hard way to read any book. So, like, that's why, again, the focus is let's make each issue as fun as possible and that it's worth your time to check out each individual part. But by the time we have 6 issues, you're going to be like, oh, okay, Superguy is not just what I thought he was. Robot Guy is not who I just thought he was. This is a story, you know, maybe it's hard to say take a comedy seriously. Like, I don't want you to take the content seriously in that way. Like, we want you to laugh, but like, I think we have a really cool story we want to tell. But we need all the parts to be there before it could like fully be there without like just saying, this is what's going to happen, you know, like, it's really at this point where it's like so smack dab in the middle of it. It's just like, come on, guys. It's still early. You could jump on board to Superguy, back us on this Kickstarter. But there's still so much more to go.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. Well, you know, guys, you know, like we said a couple of different times already, by the time this comes out, the Kickstarter will already be a week in and it's going to be super successful. And it's going to be, again, we're manifesting all this stuff,
$5
right?
million. $5 million.
We're manifesting. So make sure you check it out. We'll put the link in the show notes. We'll put the link out on social media so everybody will be able to find Superguy, share it with everybody because it's an awesome book. So definitely go check it out. The Kickstarter will launch on the 10th. So, you know, again, that'll already be about a week ago. So make sure you go check it out. You got plenty of time now because it's only a weekend. So go check it out and share with all the people that you think will like it. Before I let you guys go, Joey, I want to ask you, what's a bit of advice that you would share with some of the creatives out there that are listening?
Just keep drawing, you know, just keep at it, keep practicing, even if it's like not good for you or whatever, just keep at it. One thing that I noticed is during the pandemic, I used to be just awful at like hands and feet. I'm still not good at feet. But I just drew every single day for like 2 or 3 months straight, like doing like the drawing a day challenges on Instagram.
Nice.
And by the end of it, I was like, oh, like I was just like, I just drew a hand on the first try. I can draw hands now.
Nice.
And you know, like they say, you know, like practice makes perfect, and like, yeah, it does. Like, I don't want to be a cliche, but just, you know, just keep going at it. When you're watching movies, pay attention to how like scenes are like framed and like laid out and shot, and try to, you know, see if you can recreate that. And like if you're making comic books or illustrations, just play around with you know, stuff like that. That's what I do, and it works. So
very cool.
You know, do that.
That's good advice.
Yeah.
All right, Tony, for you,
yes,
I want to know, do you have a piece of advice to share with the listeners out there about running a Kickstarter? What's some advice you'd give that you've learned yourself?
I want to say, like, don't stop talking about it. Like, I feel like myself, like, I feel like I'm being annoying every time I post anything. So, but then, like, I remember last Kickstarter, like, it was maybe the day after it finished, and I posted something about it, and someone was like, "Wait, you had a Kickstarter?" And I don't know if they were fucking with me or not, but like I was like, yeah, yeah, I did. Like they're like, oh, I didn't see any posts about it. Like so, like that kind of messed with me in a way that I'm like, I guess I just should just overdo it, right? Just like
Yeah.
just post too much because if no one sees it, but like I don't want to really annoy people, you know. I just want to be like, hey, I have something you might be interested. Um, you might not have seen it. Like that's like my approach to it, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's just I don't want to say be aggressive, but like don't be afraid to be like, hey, I have a comic. Like I want to suggest this. Like I want to go in someone's DMs and be like, hey, I've never spoken to you ever in my life, but here's my comic and you should read it. And here's a
Yeah.
paragraph long reason why you should read it, and here's the link. That for sure I will never ever click your comic. Like I don't know. There's just something about it that's like,
Yeah.
hey, what's up? Might have even made me read your comic, but like you know what I mean? Not that I'm saying like you have to like kiss the ring or anything like that, but
Yeah.
like, you know, like if Chris, you were like, hey, I wrote something, you want to read it? I would be like, hell yeah, man, sure, why not? Like, you know, we've talked multiple times, you know, it's not like that.
Yeah.
Um, but I feel like there's a way to tell people about your comic without, you know, being in their face, being annoying. Just let the world know, you know, we have social media, use it if you have it. Um, but I think also like the groundwork has to be there before like this week, you know. If
Oh,
I had just
100%.
decided to start posting this week, hey guys, check it out, you know, and you know, I've never shared someone's campaign or backed anybody. Like you could see how many Kickstarters I backed, you know. I don't know if it's a
Yeah.
good number. It's like over 40. I've tried, you
Hey.
know. Um like I feel like being part of the comic community for real is important, you know, like stuff like you
Yeah.
do. I see you do all the time, Chris. You're always talking to people online, posting stuff, sharing stuff. Like that's the way you do it. There,
Yeah.
I don't think it's hard to click share, you know, like, and
Yeah.
I'm not
It's
telling people
not.
what to do, but it's not hard, you know, like it's just
Yeah.
very easy to support, especially if you're another creator, you know, like I know how it is. So like if I see someone that has something, it comes across, you know, I try to share as much as I can, you know.
Yeah.
Um, you know, and not just like comics, just like I love seeing people create stuff. I don't even have to really like it. It's just like, hey, that's
Yeah.
a cool guy. I'm gonna share that, you know.
Yeah.
Um, and again, I'm not saying that's what you have to do for us. I'm just saying
Right.
like I just feel like you have to kind of cultivate that if you want people to show up for you, you know?
For sure. And I know that,
Mhm.
a big thing I've heard, especially when it comes to Kickstarter backing, is if you're sharing a Kickstarter for, for yourself or for somebody else, and you go in there and like you mentioned, you can see the amount of Kickstarters you've backed.
Yeah.
If you have, and I've heard this a lot, where if you have made more than you backed, or if you haven't backed very many, chances are you're not going to get a lot of hits on that because it doesn't show that you're supporting the community.
Right.
You have to if you want people to back you, you need to be able to back them too. So if it doesn't, I mean, and like you said, Kickstarter will out you and tell people exactly how many you've backed. So, that number is super important because, that shows that, you're part of the community, you're trying to support people. And imposter syndrome is real, man. And like, like you said, you feel like you're bugging people sharing your Kickstarter. That's why I don't post a ton about, this show. I'd like to post more about this show, but I feel like I don't want to bother people and I don't want people to, get sick of me and, unfollow me, unfriend me, whatever. But that's kind of their deal, I guess. But I need to
Yeah,
get better.
exactly.
I need to get better at that because, it's all creators, man. I think have an issue where they just feel like they're bugging people. And really, a lot of times people are going to be cool with it.
Yeah.
People are just either going to scroll by and be like, oh, that's cool. Or, hopefully they'll give you a share. Hopefully they'll give you a share and say something like witty or cool about you and like tag you. That's hard to do after, you've done it like a whole bunch of times, thinking of something cool and funny to say to help support your people and share it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's always super helpful to do that. And I was going somewhere with that, and I can't remember all of a sudden now. But uh, super important to share if you can. And what you mentioned about going in people's DMs. Hey, I've never talked to you, but you should read this. That is for sure gonna not get me to even like do anything because like you said, you have to cultivate it ahead of time, and you can't just go months without talking to somebody, and all of a sudden the first interaction you have with them is, "Hey, I have this thing, give me money." Like
Yeah.
for sure
Yeah,
that.
exactly. Because that is the implication.
Yeah, I
Also, it
mean,
feels spammy. Like if you
oh,
know, like
for
that's how a
sure.
spam message. That's how spammers like will message you, like
Yeah.
a paragraph long. Like, hey, I'm a new artist. It's like, no, you're not. You're like an AI bot. Like, what are you
Yeah,
Yeah.
saying?
100%. And like I have social media connections, I'm not even really going to say friends because we don't really talk that much, but it seems like the only time they want to talk to me is when they want either to be on the show or they want me to back their Kickstarter. And it for a second it kind of makes you feel like, oh, cool, no, they're talking to me, they want me to back this, but it's like, oh, this is probably like a copy paste of like 400 other
Yeah.
people. So this is totally impersonal. It's like
Yep.
I've
Yeah, you could
never,
feel that. You could feel it.
yeah. Like at first I feel like, oh, this is like special to me, but like no, this is just something that they're only talking to me because they want my money. And it's like if you want my money, I'll give it to you, but like you said, you need to cultivate that relationship. Like you have to put the work in. You have to put the effort in to kind of make that connection and not necessarily just with, your writing and sharing their stuff. Like no, even stuff they just share, like, about everyday life. Like, go
Yeah, yeah.
like have conversations with people outside of trying to like try to make friends with people. I mean,
Right.
they,
Like if I went on and posted every day, just like read Super Guy, like that
yeah,
that that comes across like like I'm not a person then I'm just like a promo machine, like
right.
then I get that too. Yeah,
Yeah, you need like the personal touch, occasionally too, because you can't connect with a person, just on that level. You have to connect with them on, different levels. And it's hard making friends as an adult, so having social media is kind of like the best way to do that. And
for sure.
adults make it 10 times harder than it has to be because I know like my 10-year-old, she'll just walk up to some kid, "Hey, you and I have something in common. Do you want to be friends?" "Yeah, we're best friends now. Let's go hang out." Grown-ups, for some reason, there's a hang up about that, and I don't know why, and it sucks, but
Mhm.
uh, you have to be able to try to connect with people, and if social media is the way to do it, that's the what you have to do. Go, dig through. I mean, I know like when I'm preparing for shows like this, I'll go to like we'll just use you as an example. I'll, first I'll see, what we've already talked about, when we talked previously, because I don't want to, waste time talking about stuff again. But, or if we're going to talk about stuff, we're going to talk about something a little bit differently. Or, I'll look
Sure.
through social media and see like, what stuff that you've been doing lately that's, related to Super Guy or related to other stuff, like we talked about comics and Chronic and we talked about, Wonder Man and Training Day. So it's like stuff like that. You need to use it to, connect with somebody and,
Absolutely.
try and relate on a personal level. And once you have that connection, then like, hey, I have this thing, and like, once you've made that connection, chances are, they'll either back you or if, they can't for whatever reason, or like, and this happens all the time in comics where, you'll be friends with somebody and they'll make a comic that's not necessarily something you're interested in, but
Right.
there's a bunch of other people on your social media that might be. So that's why you give the share. So either way, you're going to support them, whether it's financially or you're doing it sharing stuff like that.
Right. And I mean, it doesn't even have to apply to like indie comics or comics in general or at
Right.
all. Like
Mhm.
sometimes I want to just support someone because I'm like, hey, that guy's cool.
Exactly.
I don't care about werewolf romance, but hey, I love that dude, so I'm buying his book. Like it's
Exactly.
something like that.
Exactly. All right. Well, where can we find you guys on social media? Where can we stay up to date on stuff that you guys are working on? Kickstarter, stuff like that. Where can the listeners find you guys?
Instagram and Threads. I'm Jorion's Belt. Uh, it'll it'll be there, right? Is it gonna say, or do I have to spell it out for them?
I think it's right now for me, it's in the left-hand corner. So it
Okay,
might be
cool.
it
Yes,
might be in the
left
right-hand
left
corner when
hand
it
for me as
flips.
well. I
Either
don't know.
way.
It's
Other like right here.
uh,
Yeah, yeah,
there.
yeah.
I guess
I
it's flipped for me. So
Oh,
mine
I
is
would
on is there for me.
oh, weird.
so Anthony and I are on the top row and you're underneath me. So like it's like down that way. It
Oh damn.
might be backwards. I don't know. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's right in the window. Go check it out.
Yeah, it's there. You'll find it. I usually post pretty re not recent. What's the word?
Frequently.
Frequent stuff, but uh, I'm I'm doing Super Guy right now, so you guys are gonna have to wait for the new stuff. But come follow me, come check me out, like my things.
Awesome.
That's it.
All
just
right.
just the one, just the one.
Hey, that's
Well, I
okay.
guess Blue Sky too, but
Social media kind of sucks sometimes, so limiting your
Yeah,
social media is not a bad thing.
not at
mhm.
all.
All right, man. What about you?
Oh yeah, I'm Mr. Tony Nacho everywhere. That's my handle. It will always be my handle. You'll see me with the Weezer hat. That's it. I'll never change it. I just won't. I guarantee if I change it, people will be like, "Who are you?" Like I just have to keep it. Like I'm afraid to ever change my profile picture.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
uh, but maybe as of this recording, but I might have a website very soon. It might be out already.
Oh,
MrTonyNacho.com. Working on it.
okay.
Working on it. Yeah.
Professional as
And
shit. Way to
yeah,
go.
exactly, exactly. And that's how you would get all my info. Like, sure, I'll be on social media, I'll still do my thing, but I really want like one place to be like, here's like, like I can't like I feel like if I post a link to something I actually wrote, it social media is like, no, 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 we don't show that to people. You're
Yeah.
not allowed to post links here. This is the internet. It's like
Yeah.
weird. So like I want a place where it's like, well, you actually went to my site, so you might be willing to read some of my stuff and it's here. You don't have to click anywhere else. I do a lot of video stuff too. So I want it all in one place and I just yeah, it's professional, but I think it's also like we're seeing like the enshittification of all the social media we use. We're talking about it here, algorithms and just the way they operate is just maybe this will help. I don't know. We had comicsandchronic.com for a while. We actually just stopped that. And I was never sure if people were visiting. That's one of the things. Like it's just the internet just became so much of like we're on social media and that's the internet that like
Yeah.
I kind of like the idea of having a site just to be away from that a little bit.
I get
Yeah.
that. One of these days I'll be cool and get a website, but for now, I have a link tree and that's kind of the same thing,
But
but
that's what I have now. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, you're going to be, selling comic books and stuff too, so you could easily, add a shop on the store and then that way you can send
Yeah.
comics out through the so that's
Perfect.
I got nothing like that. So I have so far right now my link tree is good, even though I don't think anyone even looks at my link tree, but it works.
It's there. It's good to have. It's a great, I mean, that's what I have business cards and that's the QR code. That's where it sends you to my link tree. It's
There
still
you go.
very useful. I
Looks
mean,
very
everyone
nice.
has a link tree. It's good.
For
I
sure.
got Linktree.
For sure.
Link tree boys.
Yes,
Hey.
sir. I think I need to fix mine a little bit because it's a little bit janky, but I need to give it
You
some
got a
love.
janky
But
tree, man.
it's okay. I need to give it some. I think I'm redundant on there. I need to fix it. Maybe I'll ask you, like, hey, get some advice.
Yeah, for sure.
But anyway, so for me, you can find or whoop, rewind. Sorry. I want to thank Polygon Horizon. Their song "Pizza Force" is the song we use for the show. It's a great song, and Chris is the singer of the band, or he's the heart and soul of the band. Chris is a good guy from Germany. Go check out Polygon Horizon. They're on Bandcamp and SoundCloud. Go give them all the love and support because Chris is awesome. Fueled by Weirds on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and you can find me on fueledbyweird@gmail.com. Shoot me an email. Let's chit chat about weird stuff. Uh, you can find the show on YouTube, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcasts. And like I mentioned, I have a link tree, uh, which the URL is so weird, but look up Linktree, look up Fueled by Weird. You can find me on there and find all my stuff. Uh, my dude Hassel Hutchinson, he's got a channel, the Nerdy Manroom Show. He's got lots of good stuff on there. The Nerdy Manroom Show. Hassel's Review, he reviews all sorts of cool stuff. Card Subject to Change. It's a wrestling show where he does a lot of what ifs in pro wrestling, so it's kind of cool. So if you're a
Ooh.
pro wrestling fan, go check it out. He has lots of cool stuff that he spends lots of time researching and investigating. It's pretty awesome. Um,
Okay.
we are part of the Stay Weird Network. It's a podcast network dedicated to bringing some awesome back to the internet because the internet sucks sometimes. So we want to try to make it a little less sucky. Uh, check us out at Stay Weird Network on YouTube and Instagram. Check us out also at stayweirdnetwork@gmail.com. We just started putting some new videos up there. Hassel shares hidden horror movies that you might like or you might not like. I started a new show, Fueled by Music, where I just share tracks that I'm listening to that you should listen to too. Maybe you'll know who they are, maybe you don't. But the music that I like it, maybe you don't. But go check it out because there's some good stuff that's out there. If you like the show, please leave a review and tell your friends because word of mouth is my friend. And remember, kids, it's only weird if you make it weird. So make it real weird. Joey, Tony, thanks for joining me tonight, guys.
Thanks for
Thank
having us.
you. I love being
Absolutely.
weird.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.